Hi everyone, my name is Leah. This is Long Beach, California right here, home to one of the busiest ports in the world and also one of the most polluted regions of the country. Behind me we just have one of the Port of Long Beach terminals that we'll be looking at today, one of the busiest here. The air here isn't just thick with fog, it's thick with diesel exhaust fumes. And actually, asthma rates in Long Beach are nearly twice the national average here. And children are often missing schools, elders are often struggling to breathe. One local study even found a correlation between the proximity to freeways and elevated cancer risks. So the deeper the poverty, the closer to pollution you are. Just beyond the towering cranes, diesel exhaust, and endless movement of cargo lies something else: communities of color. For decades, low-income Black and Latinx families have lived at the front lines of environmental harm, while corporations are profiting from the flow of global goods. This isn't just pollution, it's environmental racism, and it's no accident. Environmental racism refers to the way that toxic industries are concentrated near communities of color, and this could be through zoning laws, land use policies, and also historical neglect. These people that are living near the Port of Long Beach, they didn't choose this pollution for themselves. It was chosen for them. Piles of trash scattered along the train tracks speak to the environmental cost of global trade. This isn't just litter, it's a byproduct of overconsumption, poor waste management, and a system that prioritizes profit over people and the planet. The pollution here doesn't just stay here, it spreads through our air, our water, and our communities. Just across the bridge, along the waterfront, communities live in close proximity to the Port of Long Beach. They're close enough to see the ships and close enough to feel the impact. The health impacts of air and noise pollution are part of their everyday lives. This is where environmental injustice becomes personal. On the side of a building in Drake Park, this mural stands not just as art, but as a form of resistance. In a community shaped by industry and environmental harm, it's a bold reminder that pride, culture, and history still live here. While the Port of Long Beach sits just blocks away, so does the spirit of those who refuse to be erased by pollution, policy, or neglect. The Port of Long Beach is a global hub of commerce, but for these nearby residents who live in these areas, it's a source of toxic air, chronic illness, and also shortened lives. This is not just pollution, it's the deliberate placement of these environmental hazards in these specific communities of color. So this is a pattern of environmental racism, and it's deeply rooted in the history of zoning, segregation, and capitalistic policies. The West Long Beach and downtown area is one of the most heavily impacted areas in Southern California. According to census data, over 70% of residents identify as color, and median household income is well below the county average. And despite this information, the port and the related industries, it says rail industries, warehousing industries, and trucking industries continue expanding into these neighborhoods, and residents are left with the consequences. As these kids play soccer just blocks away from the Port of Long Beach, their lungs are working overtime, but not just from the game, but from the toxic air that surrounds them. Every breath carries traces of diesel exhaust, particulate matter, and chemicals linked to asthma, cancer, and long-term health risks. Joy shouldn't come with a cost, but in this neighborhood, it too often does. Jeff Shantz in Radical Ecology in Class Struggle reminds us that environmental destruction is not random, but it is structural. And capitalist systems prioritize profit over the well-being of people, and the placement of polluting infrastructure reflects the social devaluation of the working class communities. This is environmental injustice, and this is a class struggle. Supporting local vendors in these communities is really important as it supports them in their everyday lives and it gives them a little extra on the side that they may not have had before.
The Take Action Plan for Environmental Justice in downtown Long Beach. While environmental injustice is not inevitable, but is the result of political and economic choices. To support environmental justice in Long Beach and beyond, you can get involved with local organizations like East Yard Communities for Environmental Justice or Long Beach Alliance for Children with Asthma that fight for clean air and healthy neighborhoods. To support environmental justice in other ways, we could demand stricter regulations on diesel emissions, the port operations, and freeway expansions by contacting local government officials. We can also support policies that invest in green infrastructure, health services, and affordable housing. And we can recognize that true environmental justice means dismantling systems that prioritize corporate profit over human lives, and that takes collective action.